Now to some new information on the vaccine front. Moderna says its vaccine is more than 90% effective against the coronavirus. The updated data from phase 3 of its trial also shows it's up to 95% effective against severe illness for up to 6 months after the second dose. This update brings the vaccine one step closer to full FDA approval, which requires a more intense review process. Both Pfizer and Moderna were granted emergency use authorization. Many vaccine sites are now making changes or canceling events since both the CDC and FDA called for a pause in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Georgia's Department of Public Health following the guidance, which means Atlanta Public Schools' mass vaccination event for next week is no longer happening. So what's next for the J&J vaccine? In just 2 hours, the CDC's vaccine advisors will meet and possibly make a recommendation. Tracey Amick Peer has more on what we can expect.
The FDA and CDC are calling for a pause to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine nationwide. Today, federal health officials are taking the next step, reviewing the data on the vaccine to make a recommendation. It's all news that preschool teacher Megan Ravel says makes her nervous since she got the vaccine last month.
If I knew this information going into it, I think I would have gotten another shot.
There are some things we do know.
6 women between the ages of 18 and 48 that have suffered blood clots from the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Piedmont Dr. Jane Morgan says some things don't show up in drug trials.
When you get drugs, vaccines, devices out into the real world, and you're exposing them to millions and millions of people, you may begin to identify some side effects that were unable to be uncovered in a trial of 30 to 40,000 people.
But why are they all women? And does that mean moving forward, women under 50 will not take this vaccine? While so far the number is literally 1 in a million, Ravel says that news that all 6 were women between 18 and 48 is the scariest part.
Under 50, which many teachers that I received it with were under 50 years old.
More questions than answers at this point. So now a pause, giving the FDA and CDC time to get some answers. The CDC plans to vote on updated recommendations for the J&J vaccine by the end of the day today.
And this pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is causing some concern for those who already received the 1-dose shot. On Morning Rush, I talked with 11 Alive medical correspondent Sujatha Reddy and asked her some of your most pressing questions.
This is very concerning to people who've received the J&J vaccine or were on the list to get it. You know, I think we have to put into perspective. First, there's no absolute direct cause and effect, but it's pretty suspicious. But it's very rare. We've given out in the U.S. almost 7 million doses, and up to now there have been 7 reports of these serious blood clots. So it's less than 1 in a million. So it's a rare complication, and we just don't have enough information right now to say, is there something specific in these people? Were they on a medication? Do they have a medical condition that made the vaccine and that issue lead to these blood clots? We just don't know. So one thing to be reassured about is if you've gotten your vaccine 3-4 weeks ago, you're probably okay, because these 6 reports occurred within 2 weeks of receiving the vaccine. So I hope that gives people some, reassurance.
Now, though the blood clots are rare, Dr. Sujatha Reddy says the symptoms would be serious, causing major swelling in the arms and legs or possibly stroke-like symptoms. If you have any concerns, she says, call your healthcare provider or head to the ER.